Hello, I'm Kelly and welcome to my channel Animal Instinct. I'm back for another cross-stitching update. It's Sunday the 14th of March 2021 today. I can't believe how long it's been since my last video. That time's just flown by. I just got quite busy and just didn't have time to film, and also hadn't stitched as much as usual, so I didn't have quite as much to show. But I'm here now, so hopefully this will be back on track. Today is just going to be a regular update of what I've been working on, including all the starts I had for my birthday. Thank you so much to everyone who wished me happy birthday. It was a really fun day, and also the sale that I had, only 40 once sale, was lots of fun. It was so good to see so many people joining in and either having new starts along with me or stitching on animal whips and tagging me. It was great. It was really good. So more on that later. I'm going to start like usual with a finish. I have not ironed, so there's going to be creases today. There's also going to be not too much editing, I don't think. I don't really have time to spend too much on that right now, but I'm going to try and put a list of what I've worked on in the description box below. So I finished my February block for the Joyful World sale, I guess, that I'm doing with Deb Wilson Stitches, by the Snowflower Diaries. It's free on their blog, and we're just stitching one a month. So this is our 6th month, so we're halfway there. It's on 18 count Ada Vintage Country Mocha, just using DMC. The reason that is so creased is because I've now made a start on the March block, which was in the Q-snap, and I'll just show you that here. It's my start on March. So happy to have kept up with that. I didn't keep up with other things, but this one is all good. Okay. The other thing that I'm trying to keep up with is my temperature typography by Sarah, the StitchinMommy, and I'm stitching it on 25 count pewter Lugana 1/1 full crosses, and you can see, so each little strip is a day in that month and the corresponding high temperature. Lots of bird action out there today. We didn't have a very warm summer. We just had a really hot patch here, and we had a bit of a last hurrah here. And while the maxes, I guess, were, you know, not super high, I think they were mid to high 30s Celsius. We had a night where the minimum was 27 degrees Celsius, which is disgusting. I think that was about 82 Fahrenheit. Ugh. But anyway, that's coming along really well. Okay, next up I've got my WIPGO pieces for February. I did really well in January and I met my goals for both pieces. That did not happen in February. So there's a different project, 2 different projects every month, where I'm aiming to get 21 hours of stitching into them. And I didn't get it for either one. I'm not sure if you can hear that. I've just been to the farmer's market and Reggie's having a nibble on the veggies. Anyway, this is the first one, Cricket Scene by the Clayton collection. Stitching it on 32 count antique white linen, and I got 1 hour and 50 minutes out of 21. So not really much to show. I'm not going to have before pictures today. I think I worked on the chimney. I can't really remember, to be honest, but anyway, it's coming along. And then I swapped over to my other piece, which is ANZAK by Long Dog Samplers. I'll pop a photo in here because I don't have the card, I don't have the cover. And I will try and find a before picture for this one. I'm stitching it on 28 count Lugana. Coffee and tea dyed by me. Hopefully, yeah, there's been a before picture, and this is where I am now. So I've gone backwards. Let me show you what happened. You can see this has all been frogged. That's just a part of the die, so it looks like a mark, but it's just part of how the die's turned out. But what I was doing, I was following the border around, and my plan was to do the whole border and then come back and do the fun stuff in the middle. So I'd come around here, I'd come down here, and there's an echidna here, kind of in negative space. And I kind of got to the bottom, and I'd done bits of it, but not the whole thing. And I could have either carried on down and kept going with the border, or I could have worked back this way and completed the echidna. And that's what I chose to do. And in hindsight, that was a good decision because it was how I noticed my mistake. So you can see that's his tongue. So I worked my way back, and I was just at the point where I needed to attach his tongue to his body, and it just wouldn't fit. I just couldn't work out what was wrong. And then you can see this little butterfly. Eventually I realized that I'd stitched the butterfly, I'd given it a mutation, and it had 3 wings, not 2. Which meant my whole piece was 2 stitches too wide. So if I'd fudged it as I was kind of thinking I might do, then I realised I would need to add an extra 2 columns of stitching to the whole piece, and it goes right through New Zealand, and I just didn't want to mess with it. So I worked out in Pattern Keeper how much I needed to frog, and it was somewhere between 1100 and 1200 stitches. I've never frogged that many stitches in my life. I did it over 3 or 4 sessions. I was really impatient and just annoyed at myself, and I was hacking away with the scissors front and back. Normally I use a needle and I carefully pick them out. No. I knew that I might cut the fabric, but I didn't. I had enough, like down, it's a huge piece of fabric, so I had enough to start over if that happened. But it didn't. The only extra stitching once I had frogged everything was I just fixed up the butterfly. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame. But I'm glad I sat down and did that over the course of a few weeks, because otherwise I might not have come back to it. So I counted the time I spent frogging as, you know, towards my WIPGO goal. So I'm up to 7 hours, I think. And I think I did like 3 hours of stitching before I realized there was a mistake. And then over the next few weeks, 4 hours of frogging. So they're both going to go away, although I should get back to them later in the year. All right, next up, it was Reggie, who's now eating. I'm sure you can hear him crunching away. It was his first birthday. And any excuse for a new start, right? I had this fantastic kit from LanArte, King of Animals. And so I started that on his birthday on the 8th of February. It came with 14 count Ada, and I swapped the fabric out. So I'm stitching it on 25 count. 1/1 full crosses. And I got a decent start, and I really, really like how it's looking already. So very keen to continue with this one. Right. Then I guess it was my birthday. So I turned 40 on the 12th of February. And again, thank you so much for everyone who wished me happy birthday and joined in the birthday stitch along. I started a new piece every day, and I think I got, how many is that? No, 10. I did a new start every day for 10 days. I used the Tiny Decisions app, where you just basically enter a list, it populates a wheel, you hit the button and it picks a random one for you. I was filming a vlog, but I kind of, towards the end, I stopped with the filming and stuff just because work got crazy, and I just really didn't feel like looking at screens after I'd finished working for the day. So I kind of switched off social media for a bit too, just because I was worn out. So instead of sharing the vlogs, I'm just going to show you my new starts. So the first one was another LanArte kit it's called Indian Model, but I think I'm calling it Indian Woman. Looks like Aishwarya Rai, the Bollywood superstar, but she also reminds me of lots of other Indian women that I met my travels in India. I was really happy to find this. It was really interesting because when I did the vlog, I filmed this one on the 12th because this is the one that came out for my birthday, and I was kind of lamenting the fact that I've been trying to find Asian themed cross stitch patterns that remind me of the Asia that I know and love. There are plenty of Japanese themed projects out there, and there's nothing wrong with Japan, but there's a whole lot more to Asia than Japan. And yeah, I've been struggling to find, Southeast Asian themed patterns, and here's like an Indian one, which I was thrilled to find. And a week after I had had my little rant that I'm not even gonna show you anymore, Happy Bella Stitch came out with a very similar statement on Instagram, and then Stitch Asia was born, where people are stitching Asian themed stitching as diversity inclusion sal, because they're not. Asia is poorly represented in cross stitch. So it was just funny. We both had the same thoughts. So that was really neat. On my birthday, I had a really busy day. You'll see I hardly put any stitches into this, but I'm going to keep her out and work on her for Stitch Asia. So it came with, I think it's 14 count Ada. I wanted something different because it's quite white there. I wanted something just a little bit less stark. And so I've gone with a 32 count Lugana. Doesn't show up that well, but it's like a really pale purple. It's from Jay's X Stitch on Etsy, and this one is actually, she called it Retreat Special. I bought it at a retreat I went to, but it looks a bit like her, I think it's Mulberry's. And this is my start. So I'm stitching 2/2. So just a tiny little start, but it's going to stay out to work on more this month. My second birthday start, I don't have here. It's a Gecko Rouge kit called Invictus, artwork by Medusa Dollmaker. Just a small start on that, that's okay. It's not directly next to me and I'm not going to go and get it. My third birthday start was Hygge Stories by NewLeafCraft. Thank you to those of you who helped me with my pronunciation. Hopefully I'm a little closer to the mark this time. Hygge, I think. But this is by NewLeafCraft on Etsy, And there's 12 patterns, one for each month of the year. So I started, so they're split into 4 files, 4 seasons, and I started the summer set because I'm stitching in summer, but it was their June, I think their June pattern. It's on 28 count Brittany Lagana in Aether by Chromatic Alchemy. And I really liked working on this, and I actually finished it after a few sessions. I came back to it. So it's a really sweet little scene on a balcony with the shutters, the blinds open, there's curtains, you can see inside there's a table with a vase, flowers and chandelier, and there's a little chair, and then there's flowers growing on the balcony. It's only small. I think it's 45 by 45 stitches, but it basically has a huge, it's a lot of work. So there are crosses with 2 strands of DMC. There might be crosses with 1 strand as well. Can't remember that. There's definitely half stitches with 2 strands and half stitches with 1 strand. There is back stitching. There are, it's not really focused, but there are French knots. You can sort of see the dots, the flowers, and I was very happy with how they came out because I don't do them very often. There was couching, where you do long strands of back stitch and you secure it down with just little loops, I guess, to hold it down. So the back of the chair is stitched that way, so it looks like there's multiple stitches in those long bits, but it's just one, but it's secured down with a few little loops. And then they called the iron on the balcony, they called that cording. So it was also couched, so long strands, long stitches secured down, but you used 2 different colours of DMC and you twisted them together to get a really nice effect. So I'm really happy with that. Start and a finish. There's 11 to go. That was fun. My next birthday start was Sarah and Jareth by Tilton Crafts, artwork by Daniel Kordek. It's a full coverage piece and I'm stitching it 1/1 full crosses on 25 count easy count, and this is my start. So a fair bit of background to start with, but good start. That one's probably going to go away for a bit because I just can't work on everything all at once. My next birthday start, Long Dog Sampler's Beauttie Spotte. It's a really neat one where you can kind of stitch outlines and just like colour in. I started up here, which I guess is the clouds, but it does look a bit odd. This is on 25 count, easy count, antique white. And this was fun. I liked working on this one. That's my start. My next birthday start was a wise old owl. Whoops. Oh. Sorry. A wise old owl. Payne Free Crafts, artwork by Dunn. This one is being stitched. Lauren from Flossabilities is stitching this one, and it looks amazing. And so this is also 25 count, 1/1 full cross. And I had fun starting that one too. My next birthday start was Bushland Quaker by Mojo Stitches. You can find her on Etsy. She also has a blog, mojostitches.com, and it's really neat because it explains, like you can see, it's all Australian flora and a few birds, and she has pictures of the real specimens on her blog and kind of explains a little bit about them all. She has just released the second one in the series, and it's Take Flight, I think it's called. And it's mainly birds, Australian birds. So I definitely want to stitch that one too. I really, really like this style and how she's used the traditional sort of Quaker style, but used Australian themes. So the model was stitched on Jay's X Stitch again, fabric, a favourite. The model's on 36 count week T, and I'm stitching mine on 40 count week T. And I have done the top left motif, okay. And I've really enjoyed stitching that. It's charted with a combination of DMC and cottage garden threads, sorry. But there is a full DMC conversion. However, she is selling on her Etsy page a thread pack. So there's 7 cottage garden threads charted. And rather than buying skeins of them that you might not use, you can buy thread packs with just enough to complete your project. And she also included the DMC. So, fantastic. My next new start was Mandarinks Designs Cheshire Cat. No, I can't say that. There it is. I'm stitching this on a piece of even weave, 32 count even weave I got from Sew It All Australia. I think it's Fabric Flare. It's the one where it's printed on and the back's not. This one was called Rainbow Ocean. And this is my start. Oh, Reggie hair, go away. That is my start. I didn't center it on the fabric because I wanted to include this color in the piece. So that was a fun one too. Next one was Primitive Hare, Mother of the Ocean. I've been wanting to start that one for a long time. It's on 32 count Joberlin Gold Digger by Colour Cascade Fabrics. And this is my start. Love it on that fabric. And then I just had one more start, and that was The Witcher. Oh, sorry about the reflection. The sun's just come out. Designed by Sarah Bowman of Needleminder Lair on Etsy. Jo from Belushi Stitches has finished this one. I think when she stitched it, it was called Geralt, I believe. But this one is called The Witcher. I'm a big fan. So it's a little bit different to my other pieces, but I love it. I showed my work colleagues the picture and told them I was going to stitch it, and they all asked me for one. And they were like, oh, we'll pay you, but they really have no idea about the time that it takes. I mean, that's a full coverage piece. There's no way I'm going to be stitching 7 of those. So they are not going to be receiving those. They can just admire mine. I'm stitching it on 18 count Ada, 2 strands of thread, and yeah, that's my start. Okay, So I actually do have some more starts left, but like I said, I was really busy and just worn out, and it's okay, I'll start them at some point in the future. What else? There's a couple of other pieces I've worked on since all of those starts. First up is Firefly by Jenny Parks, Gecko Rouge kit. I'm working on the captain's coat, and I'm just slowly bringing it down. So I'm working in 20 deep strips. So at the moment I'm filling this one in, and actually I've got to the point where all of this to there is all the same colour. So it's just like mindless fill in. And then once I've finished that, I'll start coming down here and I'll use up these threads. And then, yeah, complete the next bit. That's looking good. I did put some time into BR's Moth by Kathy Berwick, which is this one. It's stitched in needlepoint silks, but it's also charted for DMC. I am going to frog a fair chunk of the stitches because I wasn't really concentrating, I guess, on the outcome that I wanted. I just followed the conversion, the DMC chart, sorry. And you can see that's the DMC as charted. That yellow is 3820, and it's just too bright. Like, I want the toned down version. So I'm going to unpick that and find something that works on this fabric. But otherwise it is a nice one to stitch. It's a good chart. Yeah. And then the thing that I'm working on at the moment, I wanted just easy stitching where I didn't really have to think much. And I pulled out, this is sort of unexpected, but anyway, it was a WIP, Gabrielle. She is part of the Swirlies collection, although I don't think you can actually buy her. You can buy her brother, I can't remember what his name is. Anyway, Gecko Rouge have a Swirlies collection, and they're all sort of cartoony, simple animals that are easy to stitch. Probably really good for beginner stitches, I would say. Although, you know, there's quite a lot of stitching in it. I got this one as a freebie with a kit I bought a few years ago. And it came with Ada that they'd dyed themselves, and I think it's 14 count. Yeah, it's got to be 14 count Ada. So I've been solidly working on this the last few nights. I've had about 800 to 900 stitches in it at night, over the course of, you know, quite a few hours, but still. But you can see it's been a lot of fill-in. But she is pretty close to being done. I've just got to fill in that bottom bit, and there's another, I think the tail fin sort of comes down here too. So I just need to fill that in. So I'd actually like to try and get that done in the next couple of days. And I think what I'll do is make her into a cushion. Now all the Swirlies collection animals have the swirl somewhere on them, and I just got carried away and I totally forgot. But it's fine. So there is Gabrielle. Now I'd like to share a little bit of stitchy kindness that I received. Firstly, and I haven't asked this person, so I'm not going to mention their name, but I did receive a beautiful little parcel in the mail, and included were some very sweet gifts. I'll just show you this part of it, which is this chart, Alphabet Zoo. Oh, here we go. Alphabet Zoo by Blue Ribbon Designs. There we go. Really nice. I'd never seen this one before. And I definitely want to stitch it. I actually tried to film yesterday, but this guy ruined it. He was being obnoxious and he kept knocking the camera over, and he was climbing into my project bags. He was biting the fabric, and I was showing something, trying to show something. Be a good boy, hang on. And he bit my sleeve because it had a little dangly thing on it. Anyway, there you go. Say hi to your fans. Off you go. Right, so beautiful pattern there that I do look forward to stitching one day. And the other thing I received was from Marie, Stitching is My Happy Place on Instagram. And she racked me a Hygge. So if that doesn't make any sense, RAK stands for Random Act of Kindness, and Hygge is Heaven and Earth Designs, so some of those full coverage charts. And they actually have a program, a RAK program, where you can purchase a chart from them and have it sent to a friend. So thank you so much, Marie. This is the one that she picked for me. It's called Mini Writing My Memoirs, artwork by Jeff Haney. And it is a quirky cat writing his memoirs. I really like it. It's very cool. Thank you, Marie. That's fantastic. And actually it got me thinking, because I always mention my travels because they had a big impact on my life, left a big impression on me. I spent a lot of time in Asia. In India, it was 2.5 years. I went to a lot of countries. In fact, I'll just pop them here. And I don't know how many times people have said to me, when are you going to write a book? Because every now and then I come out with these sort of perler anecdotes from my travels. I'm not going to write a book, no way. But I was tidying up the other day and came across my travel journals from that trip. And I just thought I'd share them with you because it's a bit nuts. So this is from the one trip. That is 2.5 years of my life. I started with the big ones and then I went down to smaller ones. I tried to stick to the same style, like they're mostly Moleskine journals, but then couldn't get them as well sometimes. I would finish writing in one and I would post it home, like the cheapest way, and they all made it home eventually. I was really careful. I used like acid-free pens and stuff, so hopefully it lasts. And you know, it's 10 years later and they're still fine. I can still read them. Nothing's deteriorated. But if I just randomly open one, let's see. So, ta-da. I kept track of what day of the trip it was. So this one is day 681. It was Monday, January the 17th in 2010. And that day we were doing the Mahong Song Loop, which is up in northern Thailand, northwest Thailand. It was day 6 of the Mahong Song Loop. And we rode from Mae Chem to Doi Inthanon to Chiang Mai. 146 kilometers. Doi Inthanon is the highest mountain in Thailand. Anyway, so I've got so many memories in here, in this pile. I'm not normally one to write journals, but for some reason I did keep this up. Like when I first started traveling, I was traveling on my own, so I had a lot of time to myself. And then I did start traveling with someone for most of it, but I kept up the journal. And there's some, yeah, fun memories in there. I don't know what I should do with this pile, but there's no way I can get rid of it. So, mini writing my memoirs. I've already done it, sort of. So now some plans for March, for what's left of March. I am going to work on my Indian woman for Stitch Asia. And I've got my 2 WIPGO pieces for March. The first one that I'm going to try and put 21 hours into, you know, I'll try and do it that month, but if I don't, that's fine. I'll come back to it in the year, like my February attempt. This was the first one. It's Mini, Contessa and Squid from Heaven and Earth Designs. I don't have the before pic today, but I have put 11 hours into her, and I've just about finished her face. So it's on 28 count 1/1 full crosses. This is the first full coverage piece I've done on 28 count where I'm doing full crosses. And at first I wasn't sure, but I really like it now. They're little teeny crosses and they're not too crowded. In the areas where there's confetti, it's a little bit crowded, but I'm happy. And I've said before, I wanted to stitch her face first because I was a little bit concerned about how much detail loss there would be compared to the full size chart. And I'm really happy with that. I mean, she looks great. So because, you know, your eyes go to the person's eyes in any photo or artwork or whatever, I'm really happy with, yeah, the detail around her face. So the rest of it will be fine too. I think I've just got I've got 2 colours left to fill in around her eyes and her chin, and then the face is pretty much done. And then I think I should probably work out to one of the sides and do some of the background. I don't want to do all the fun stuff first. So that's still got, I mean, at least 10 hours work needed on it. My other piece for March is The Pilgrim by Long Dog Samplers. And I normally work on this every February, but it just didn't happen this year. I'm stitching it in a Silks View. It's a dark teal, PR011. And yeah, I normally work on it in February because February is Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. The dark teal is the awareness colour, and I started it at my 5-year recovery celebration anniversary. But it's now coming up to 8 years, which is great. So I'm stitching it on 36 count platinum linen. So I got platinum linen, and this is where I'm at. I haven't worked on this for a long time, and I'm pretty sure last time I was working on that rat, which I think I was talking about the last time I worked on it. I'm not good with rats and mice. Pets are okay, but vermin freak me out. I can't help it. So I was pretty happy to get that done, and I will look forward to moving on from that, having to look at that too much. This is the silk, PR011. I don't really have any haul to show. I did order some DMC from Janet at JK's Cross Stitching. She used to just be on Facebook, but now she has a website. And I needed some DMC for some of those pieces, some of those starts. And she's celebrating her 5th anniversary. And so I got this as a gift. It's just a little DMC tin, which is actually really handy. I've had it next to me while I'm stitching. And I just thought I would share a little hack, I guess, that I've come up with. I'm forever losing my scissors into my chair down the sides, and then I have to reach in, and it's a recliner, so there's all like the cogs and everything. It's not very nice to reach your hand down into it, but it's amazing. It's like they know, they just want to end up in a hard to reach place. And so, and actually one time I was reaching in to pull them out and actually pulled out another pair that I didn't even know had fallen down there. And I've been trying to work out what I can do to have them at hand, but not keep falling down there. So with this tin, I've just put some needle minders in the lid. I got that, there's a whole lot of needles on there, but I did get that. Very, very magnetic. How about that? Got that Vegemite needle minder. So they're in the lid. And then it was kind of just a happy accident. My scissors stick to the lid. So I have this on the arm of the chair and ta-da, no more lost scissors in the chair. That's everything from me today. Hope you're all well. I think I'll come back, I'll film again, maybe Easter. That's only about 3 weeks away, I think. How about that? And I should have time then. So until then, stay well and happy stitching. See ya. Up to date with my, oh, Chip. Reggie. Reggie, stop it. Go away. Shoo, a butterfly. Reggie, get out of my project bag. Go away. No. Oh. I need to forgive it. With plants. The shutters are open. You can see the light inside. You can see Reggie eating my top. There's the chair. Someone just sitting watching. Sit there, you be a good boy. And a good start. Reggie. A good start. Away, and I forgot to stitch the swirl. So I'm hoping this will be a finish next time, and I think I'll make it into a cushion. Sorry, this cat is driving me crazy today. Go away.